What's up, guys? Today I'm going to cover and discuss and speculate on the latest chapter of Toriko. This chapter, well, let's say it's slightly pulled on my heartstrings. Like, I'm not that touchy-feely of a guy at times. Sometimes I am. But this character, he really, like, the scene, it brought back a lot of memories. By the way, I'm assuming you've read the chapter, so I'm just going to jump right into it. That orphanage scene when he realizes that these kids have died. They all died from food poisoning, and they weren't able to cook their food, and they constantly honored this guy, and they had a bulletin board of all his achievements. And this guy was cold. He was a cold-hearted man. He didn't care for the orphanage or the orphans. He just wanted his success for his own right. It pulled on my heartstrings. I don't know why exactly, because it's not exactly anything like anything I've experienced. But I know in certain times in my life, very recently, I've been very cold and selfish to my family for particular reasons, because I don't want to get too deep into it, but my mom in particular is one to sort of, she always wants something in return. So she'll never I don't feel like she'll ever be nice to me just to be nice to me. So yeah, in certain ways it's sort of this cold-hearted thing, and it pulled on my heartstrings though, because these people really cared about this guy, and it was quite a I don't know, I'm not gonna start crying here, but let's just get into it. First amazing thing was Komatsu's ability to listen and hear the ingredients, voices. That's something you guys probably, you might have skipped over and skimmed and forgotten about, but it's so important. It has been revealed once again, and it feels like his ability to do so has leveled up even more. He can now just stand there and be able to track the direction of ingredients, and he did so and found the food to cook the soup, and it was just ridiculous. Sorry, the motion sensor light went off. This ability is ridiculously insane. There's no other chefs with that ability, and it sets Komatsu apart forever. I don't think anyone's ever going to be able to. What I find amazing about it is all the other chefs are just like, that's interesting, and they move on. They never really go crazy about it. They're not like, holy crap, Komatsu, you're so gifted. But I feel like this, just by its nature, they should be more astounded, because they should realize, I very quickly realized that this was a tremendous ability with so much potential. Imagine once they get into the gourmet world and their adventures, this technique will set Komatsu apart. And I really like Komatsu as a character because of his fragility and his he has no fighting skill, and I feel like the author will never give Komatsu the fighting capability. He could, but he never will. Maybe not until the end. And it's sad, because I always wanted Komatsu to eventually learn fighting skills too, but I feel like at this point the author has decided to keep Komatsu unique, and I'm not going to disagree, because I do agree in certain ways, to make Komatsu unique. And I really like this unique ability of his, but it's still kind of sad he can't have fighting skills. But to make him unique as a character, I really like the fact that he can't fight at all. He's weaker than the average human, and yet his chef abilities have so much potential. He's not even at his peak yet. And let me just think. Okay, what happened after that was the whole thing with the orphanage and stuff. And for me, this character, I really, first off, big surprise. Komatsu, for me, I thought he would be scared. He'd be hung up on Toriko like Toriko is on him. Not at all. He's back to his normal self. He's trying to help out this chef who's a corrupt, cold-hearted, evil individual who has, up until now, shown that he only cares about joining whatever faction can help him the most, and he's willing to claw his way to the top with whatever means necessary. Bribes, slanders, evil, treacherous behavior, and Komatsu just is a good-hearted guy who helps out anyone, no matter how treacherous they are. And I don't think that's okay. That's not exactly the case. Komatsu doesn't like a lot of the Bishokukai. He does. I think it's because this guy was his longtime friend since childhood, and he was not this evil when he was a child. So yeah, I feel like he was sort of warped in this way to sort of prove himself to maybe the orphanage deep down, or maybe to himself. And when he failed, much like in life when a lot of people graduate college and they realize, I'm not going to accomplish my dreams, I'm going to be stuck in this dead-end job forever, they turn to the only avenue they can, which is illegal behavior or whatever other means to achieve success in terms of money, fame, status, because they want to prove themselves to the world. They've been ridiculed, or for whatever reason, they feel like they were looked down on at school. So they try to prove themselves in the real world and they fail, and they need this so badly that they turn to illegal behavior. So it's really sad, but it happens in the real world too. The only unrealistic thing would be the orphanage thing. Like, that wouldn't happen in the real world. Like, you're gonna go, this orphanage has been in practice for at least what, 30-40 years, assuming everything, the time, life and lifespan of all the people who have lived through the orphanage. Komatsu's like 21. He's actually apparently older than Toriko. You're telling me the orphanage can go through 40 years of this sort of stuff, and just then they realize that, oh wait, we have no cooking techniques capable of cooking all this dangerous, poisonous food on a day-to-day basis, and we've been gambling every single day and we've survived for 40 years. That's statistically impossible, so it doesn't really make sense. They all should have died a lot sooner, and that doesn't make sense that they survived 40 years and they just didn't even they took for granted the fact that they were gambling with their lives with these poisonous ingredients on a day-to-day basis. So that didn't make sense. And I think the biggest thing was when I forgot his name, but the chef Komatsu was feeding says, your soup is good, but I can make it better. And maybe this was just him being arrogant when he really couldn't, or maybe it just means what it truly is, which is Komatsu is not at the top of his game. There's hundreds of chefs, well, not hundreds, dozens, who are, at least in cooking ability, much greater than Komatsu. Sure, Komatsu has done stuff the other chefs can't. Think back to the 4-Beast arc and his ability to create that food, which I thought was amazing. He spent like 4 minutes figuring out a way so that the average cook could cook it better, and then the rest to make it taste better. Astounding. But let it be known that Komatsu still has a long way to go. He's not the best chef in the world, he's far from it, and he still has a lot to compete against, which is something a lot of people lose sight of. Finally, Midora comes back, and it's noted that Midora has a completely different view on things. He's not thankful for food, he's cold-hearted, he's not like, he doesn't look for pleasure in food, but he's come back with a vengeance, and now he knows about the blue Nitro and the third faction, and he's like, he has a plan. Like the last panel, he comes back, he's still like, he has no injuries whatsoever. Starjin has injuries, he's still, you know, hair billowing out behind him, passion in his eyes, ready to get down to business, not a single scratch on him. He knows he has to get stronger, he knows there's a lot to do, and he has a plan, which I think is really cool. So that's about it, and as always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, and leave your comments and feedback on the topic yourself. It's really quite something, and I think the biggest thing is that Midora will in certain ways be viewed as a good guy, potentially from now on, because of his dealings with Ichirayu, and a lot of the, like, it was shown that like Midora wasn't that cold-hearted. It seems like he was spared Ichirayu, and when he did die, he said the blue Nitro was not fit to eat such a great feast. And we do know that that single blue Nitro, there's dozens, that single blue Nitro is stronger, much stronger than well, not much stronger, but strong enough to slip through his like tongue trap with ease. So yeah, the evil people are now Neo. The Bishop Kukai and IGO, they're all gone. Like, there's only like those few loyal members remaining. So this is a huge thing. I'll see you guys later. Peace.